Top boxing news.
Okay, we'll start with this. Former WBA bantamweight champion Shannon Courtney posted a long caption via her Instagram account that reads, so here goes. It would be easy for me to post how great my year was, but the truth is 2023 was by far the worst year of my life. Social media can be so fake that it may have looked like I was living my best life, but in reality, I was battling every day to find reasons to even stay alive. 2023, I overcame struggles that I couldn't wish upon my worst enemy, but the fact I battled my own demons and came out the other side smiling shows me just how bloody strong and resilient I am. Is life perfect? No. Far fucking from it. But I'm happier, healthier, and wiser for when I do have them down days, because life is never perfect. I've also now got the best people in my life that help me through them bad days. Not posting this for a pat on the back, I'm posting it for anyone that is struggling to show you that there is a light at the end of the tunnel, even if you can't see it right now. Keep going, keep smiling, and remember, don't let the bastards get you down. 2024, I'm ready for you. Time to become a world champion again.
Shannon only boxed once in 2022, and she didn't box at all in 2023. The one fight she had in 2022 was a rebound fight, rebounding off the loss to Jamie Mitchell the year before. Fight she lost the Alphabet title.
WBA title. There was a plan in place for her to box current reigning WBA champion Nina Hughes in the previous year, but a pre-existing injury, at least according to Shannon, flared up, and she had to withdraw from that fight. Shannon Courtney, who sports a professional record of 8 wins with 2 losses, no draws, 3 knockouts, having never been knocked out in 10 professional bouts. It feels like Shannon's been around for a long while, but she doesn't actually have that many fights, and it's because she hasn't been that active in the last 2 years. Now, once again, according to Shannon, the reason she withdrew from the Nina Hughes fight last year was due to an injury, but according to Nina, it was because Shannon couldn't make the weight. She couldn't make 118 anymore, and moving forward, I don't think she's going to. I think in the future, what this year holds for Shannon is a campaign above 118, perhaps at 122, maybe even 126.
I think she's done as a bantamweight.
The saving grace and silver lining for Shannon Courtney is that Matchroom has a stake at 122 just as much, if not more than they had a stake at 118. 122 is just as deep as 118 with even more opportunities. There are 4 champions at 122 pounds. 4 different pops for Shannon to fight for an Alphabet title. Have the United Kingdom's own Ellie Scottney holding the IBF, Mexico's own Jamie Mercado. She's got the WBC, France's own Sigaline Lafarve. She's got the WBO, and Mexico's own 2-division champion Erica Cruz. She's got the WBA. 2 of these 4 champions just so happen to be affiliated with Matchroom, just like Shannon. And if she doesn't want to go up against them, she can always fight Jamie Mercado. She can always fight Sigaline Lafarve. I wouldn't be talking about Shannon's career. I wouldn't bother with her if I didn't think she had a chance to see herself become a champion again. I know in previous years, Shannon Courtney hasn't been everybody's cup of tea, but she is a good fighter, a capable boxer-puncher with a good jab and a quality right hand and movement to boot. She is a good fighter.
Matchroom is invested in the super bantamweight division, perhaps more so than they're invested in the bantamweight division. At 122, they've got Ellie Scottney, they've got Erica Cruz, they've got Ramla Ali, and I think they still have Shannon Courtney.
Shannon hasn't fought in over a year's time, so needless to say, she needs a tune-up fight. She needs a keep busy fight, a rebound fight, whatever you want to call it. And I think an ideal candidate for Shannon's next fight would be somebody like Maria Secchi of Italy, or perhaps Mary Romero, former EBU champion and a very good pressure fighter. I think either one of those 2 fights would be ideal for Shannon in the new year, and she needs to fight. She needs to hit the ground running this year to make up for lost time.
Because she's lost quite a bit. There are lots of opportunities between 122 and 126.
She has to capitalize on them. as best as she can. It seems like her career has lost all its footing, all its traction. Aside from this channel, I don't think anybody's spending a lot of time talking about Shannon Courtney anymore, but if I'm bothering to do so, it's because I think she's got what it takes. I think she can become a champion again. I think she's a capable fighter, and there are many good fights out there for her. The question is, will she be ready to do what she needs to do this year in all the ways she didn't do it last year?
A few inspirational quotes aside on social media, it's going to take more than inspirational quotes to get the job done.
We'll see what the new year yields and what the future holds for the former champion, Shannon Courtney, who means to become a two-division champion, a champion again this year. Men's heavyweight news, the UK domestic scene. Olympian Clarke wants Fabio Wardley showdown next, says Ben Shalom, boxer.
He is to the boxer promotional outfit what Eddie Hearn is to Matchroom and what Frank Warren is to Queensberry, with the difference being that he's a lot greener than those guys, a lot less experienced.
Unbeaten heavyweight Clarke is still eager for a fight with Fabio Wardley for the British heavyweight title. According to Clarke's promoter, Ben Shalom, of Boxer, the winner would be in the mix for major opportunities in the weight class. They were in line to fight each other last year, but a scheduled purse bid was called off at the last minute by Boxer, by Ben Shalom, and since then, Clarke has picked up wins over Marius Vach and Dave Allen, and now wants Wardley. The Vach fight, the Allen fight, they obviously didn't have the buzz that the Fabio Wardley fight would have. What I think would be this era's version of the Joshua versus White fight we saw years ago. Now, I don't think Fabio and Frazier have the same bad blood that Joshua and White had, but all the same, this could be a version of that.
I believe that fight was billed as a pay-per-view years ago on Sky Sports, the fight between Joshua and White, and I believe that the fight between Flavio and Frazier, that would be billed as a pay-per-view on Sky Sports if Sky becomes the distributor.
At the time, a lot was made of that purse bid, and Clarke hadn't had the rounds, hadn't had the experience in the pro game. We believe that Marius Vach fight, that 10 rounds, he will have learned a lot. He then fought Dave Allen, which was his highest profile to date. We have to make that fight next. I believe that Flavio wants it next as well. I do expect it to happen, Shalom told Sky Sports. If Shalom has his way, he would like to get that fight in order for a date in the next 2 to 3 months. Frazier, looking back,
he's looking to come back in February or March, and we hope it's going to be Flavio Wardley.
Comes to Flavio, for the most part, we've been seeing Flavio on the Matchroom side of things, but in his last fight, he boxed as part of a Queensberry promotion show. He boxed on the undercard of Fury versus Ngannou, opposite the ring then unbeaten David Adelaide, another domestic rival. And needless to say, Flavio lived up to my expectations. I said he would stop David, and he stopped David in good fashion, proved himself to be the much better boxer of the two.
But do you think he stops Frazier?
Well, as stated, Frazier's looking to be back in February or March, and we hope it's going to be Fabio Wardley. I think that's the fight both fighters want. That's the fight that the promoters want and the networks want, so I expect it to happen. Shalom said, February, March, even early April. We'll see. Talks are ongoing with all teams. I know both fighters want the fight to be next, so I'm sure we'll see it early next year. This year that we're in now. It's the right time, and it's a huge fight for British boxing. It's a huge fight for the heavyweight scene. A lot of people believe Flavio Wardley can win. Obviously, a lot of people believe that Frazier can win. So that's what makes it a great fight at the right time, and I'm looking forward to it. It's one to look out for. Frazier comes from the deep amateur background that Fabio doesn't come from. Frazier is an Olympian, whereas Fabio, outside of the pro game, he really only has a few white-collar fights.
But he's the one with the buzz. He's the one everybody's talking about. He's the one that's been looking impressive. His knockout over David Adelaide was really something.
Think about the fighters that Fabio Wardley has fought so far. His development as a fighter. You're talking about fights with Nick Webb, Daniel Martz, Michael Kofi, David Adelaide, Nathan Gorman.
Whoever's managing Fabio and whoever's had him on this schedule, fighting the fighters that he's been fighting, they know what they're doing, whereas Frazier, in spite of coming from the deep amateur background and being the Olympian, the blue chip prospect, I can't say that he's impressed me the way Fabio has impressed me.
Fabio's 17-0, whereas Frazier is 8-0. So comparatively, Fabio's got more rounds in the bank, more pro experience than Frazier does, but Frazier is intended to compensate for that with his deep amateur background, his experiences as an Olympian. It's a great fight, and this would be Frazier's chance to impress me, because he hasn't so far.
Sorry to say, he didn't blow me away with the Marius Vach fight or the Dave Allen fight.
Josiah Frazier-Clarke is a capable fighter, good fundamentals and good combinations mid-range to inside. Some speed there in that proximity, though nothing really stands out. Nothing really jumps out at you, whereas with Fabio, he's got devastating power. I mean, he's really got pop, but not just pop, he's got speed. He's quick for a heavyweight. Good jab.
Good shot selection, what punches he's throwing and when he's throwing them, and good movement. He's got great instincts, this kid. He's a natural.
The best way to describe Fabio and what I've been seeing from him fight by fight, so far, so good. Now, Ben Shalom, if you read between the lines, what he said, why did they pull Frazier-Clarke out of the purse bid for the Wardley fight? Why did they do that before? In so many words, what he said was he didn't think Frazier was ready for it. He didn't think he was experienced enough. Is he experienced enough now?
And was that all?
Let's not beat around the bush and let's not bullshit each other here. A part of the reason that Ben pulled Frazier out of that fight, out of that purse bid, it wasn't just because he thought Frazier was inexperienced, it's because he was afraid that if it goes to a purse bid, somebody else is going to come in and maybe they win the rights to the fight, at which point Frazier would have to go to their side of things, to a rival platform. Let's not pretend that we don't know that. A part of the reason you pulled Frazier out of the bid is because you were scared that Matchroom would win it.
Same reason he pulled Richard Riakporhe out of the purse bid for Jai Opetaia. Same exact reason.
Now, Fabio doesn't look to have any commitment to Matchroom. He's not on that side of the street anymore. His last fight was part of a Queensbury promotion show. I don't know if the people at Queensbury don't have options on him as a result of him beating their boy, David Adelaide.
David was the house fighter.
Fabio beat him. And as a result of that, whatever deal they inked, I don't know that they don't have options on Fabio. Maybe they do, and maybe they don't. But if they don't, then he can move forward with the Frazier-Clarke fight on the boxer side of things without any involvement from anyone else.
Nobody's standing in the way. And let's hope that there isn't, because I do want to see this fight.
Would likely be shown here in America via Peacock, Boxer's U.S. broadcast partner. So let's hope they get the deal done. Just in keeping with the theme of all things heavyweight, Otto Wallin says, I always said Fury would beat Joshua, but now I feel a little bit different.
Having seen Otto share the ring with both, on the outside looking in, Otto had a much easier time with Tyson Fury than what he faced in Anthony Joshua not but 2 weeks ago.
Before last month's defeat, Wallin was pretty confident that Fury would defeat Joshua. That opinion has changed a bit, and the Swedish fighter is not as confident in Fury's ability to come out on top. Well, I would say that with this fight, Joshua was a lot tougher than the fight I had with Fury. Wallin said to Boxing News, it's hard to say what would happen in a fight between Fury and Joshua. I think that Fury's a very good fighter, can probably pick it up from what he was doing in his last fight. It's a decent fight. We'll see what happens with Joshua now. This is a big part of the reason I wanted Anthony to face Otto Wallin, because I was confident he could upstage Tyson Fury. He would succeed where Fury failed to get this guy out of there, because in my opinion, Fury is not what he's made out to be, and he's not the puncher.
Where Fury failed to get Otto out of there, I was confident AJ could knock him out, and I think the same thing would happen if AJ shared the ring with Francis Ngannou, where Fury failed to get Ngannou out of there. I think AJ would knock him out.
I think people's perceptions of Anthony Joshua are mostly motivated by what happened in the Ruiz fight, the fight that he was favored to win, but he lost with no oversight over the fight that Fury lost, that he should have lost years ago against John McDermott. Fury may seem unbeatable in the eyes of some because he still is an unbeaten fighter, but I think the perception of him would be wildly different if there were at least a loss in the column, one loss in the column, and by all rights, there should be.
In tandem to what he did to Deontay Wilder in their 3 fights, it fuels that perception that Fury is unbeatable.
Though I don't think he is.
No.
He's been beaten before, it's just not on paper, and I think he's about to be beaten again. He might be onto something really good with Ben Davison, and Ben obviously knows Tyson. I don't know. There's a lot of variables. I always said that Fury would win that fight, but now, just being in there with Joshua, I feel a bit different. It's hard to go against Tyson, I think, But I don't know. It's changed my mind a bit after this fight that perhaps Anthony is better than he's given credit for, at least in Otto's eyes. Now that he's actually fought him, Anthony's better than he's given credit for, and perhaps Tyson is a bit overrated.
A bit overrated, a lot overrated. They were saying this guy's the greatest heavyweight in the history of the heavyweight division.
They didn't start saying that until he beat Deontay Wilder, that the modern perception of Tyson Fury here today is all predicated upon what he did to Wilder. A one-handed puncher who never had good fundamentals, 2 left feet, virtually no jab, and little more than just a right hand.
Yeah.
He'd have to deal with a lot more than that if he fought Anthony Joshua.
Yeah.
And the silver lining is, Fury's about to fight Alexander Usyk.
I don't think he's gonna win, but let's say that he does. Let's say that he becomes this division's undisputed champion. Then the fight with him and Anthony Joshua.
You can sell it. Of course, you can sell it.
The Saudis are paying Tyson Fury a lot of money to bite the bullet and fight Alexander Usyk. That's the only reason I think he's doing it.
If he wins, even though I don't think he's going to, though if he does, how much more money do you think they'll pay him to box Anthony Joshua? What he'd face in Anthony Joshua is not what he faced in Deontay Wilder. People's perceptions of that fight wildly differ from my own. With Wilder, he didn't have to worry about an educated, judicious jab or a guy with good footwork, good mobility, good coordination, or good cardio. Wilder has none of those things. All he really had was a right hand.
That's it. AJ's got more than just a good right hand. He's got a good left hook, like the one he nailed Otto with that sent him careening into the ropes. He's got a good left hook. He's got a good uppercut up the middle, like the uppercut he landed on Vladimir Klitschko.
The uppercut he landed on Dillian White. That in terms of variety and shot selection, Anthony Joshua has more of that with power. Coordination, fluid movement, lateral movement, like what we saw in the Andy Ruiz Jr. rematch.
It's almost like it didn't happen to some people, because for how many years now have you heard people say that Anthony's scared to let his hands go, that he's gun shy? All the while, those critiques applied more to Wilder's last performance than Anthony's. Anthony let his hands go. Wilder didn't. For 36 minutes.
Saying that Anthony's fragile, Anthony's chinny, all the while, Deontay Wilder is the one who's been knocked down and knocked out more times. I think for Tyson Fury, an Anthony Joshua fight would be a much tougher assignment than what he faced in Deontay Wilder, but the truth is, Fury may not make it there. I don't have him winning the Usyk fight.
If Usyk beats him and the bubble bursts, I don't think Tyson Fury has the mental fortitude, the intestinal fortitude, to recover from it. He might retire if Usyk beats him.
If Usyk stops him, do you see Tyson Fury activating his rematch clause? Is that what you think he would do?
You think he'd want to run it back with that guy? In any event, we'll see what happens.